How do you capture your audience in the first 10 seconds of a talk? Well, first of all, let's look at what not to do. I think if you're doing a physical talk, the last thing really you should start with is your name. Hello, everybody. My name is Michael T. Because they don't care at that stage. I think a much more effective way of capturing your audience is to use something called the funnel, which is when you start very broadly with some sort of universal statement, and then you narrow it down to the subject you want to talk about. And let me give you a couple of examples just off the top of my head. Let's say, for example, the European Union. It's fairly topical at the moment. And you could start a talk like that, something like this. Good morning, everybody. There are times in all of our lives when we have to balance things, when we have to balance idealism versus practicality, or freedom versus bureaucracy. This happens on an individual basis, but it also happens on a national basis. And that's what's happening to this country at the moment. Which brings me to what I want to talk about today, which is the European Union and Britain. Should we remain within it, or should we leave? And that's the subject of my talk this morning. Let's think of another example. Organic gardening. Good morning, everybody. You wouldn't believe sometimes how bad the stuff we put down our throat occasionally is. We've all heard about sugar and how bad it is for everything else. But also, you'd be amazed with how much pesticides and gunk is on the average vegetable or fruit that you buy in the supermarket. In fact, if I told you how much is on the average fruit or vegetable, you probably never buy them again. Which brings me to what I want to talk about today, which is eating healthy vegetables and healthy fruit, which is good for you and your family, namely organic gardening. And that's my subject to you this morning. Do you get the gist? Those were rather rough and ready, just off the top of my head. But they're useful examples, I think, of how to kick a talk off in the first 10 or 20 seconds. Hope you found that useful.